So in a true feel-good story here in the UK, the car finance trial is very much starting, and pretty much no matter what happens, we lose. Everybody loses. That's great. That's fantastic. That's just what we want to hear right now in the UK. The economy's doing so well. Everybody's got so much money. We can afford to lose money. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We can all afford a car on finance. No doubt about that. We should all pay more. But anyway, in all seriousness, let's have a look at this, because this is the story that I've brought you before in terms of, the reasons why car finance companies are going on trial. And this is a really, really huge kind of case, really, for the future of the industry. Full article on the motoringchronicle.com as always, guys. Let's have a look at this, and why no matter what happens, we're all out of pocket. As the Supreme Court gears up for its pivotal April 2025 hearing on car finance mis-selling, a case poised to redefine consumer lending, Stuart Mason, the editorial director of Car Expert, weighs in with his take on this far-reaching impact. The Supreme Court case on car finance mis-selling is set to be one of the most significant legal decisions in recent financial history, with the hearing scheduled for early April 2025. Attention is escalating rapidly as various interested parties lobby to influence public perception, perhaps hoping the judges themselves are tuned in. The car finance sector is critical to the functioning of the broader car industry. Simply put, without car finance, there is no car industry. So this case and the ongoing investigation in car finance sectors are hugely important. This is not only to ensure that there's fairness for consumers who may have been missold in the past, but also competitive and affordable finance in the future. That's an almost impossible task. There are potentially tens of billions of pounds at stake in this case, and regardless of who wins, the end result is likely to be that the consumer will ultimately be worse off. Nothing ever changes, does it? It's always the average person that loses out in these big deals, isn't it? In recent months, the lower courts and Court of Appeal have ruled in favour of consumers, and I'd be surprised if the Supreme Court deviates from those previous decisions. However, this story has taken several twists and turns over the last year, so no one's quite sure how everything is going to pan out. One thing we can be fairly sure about, though, is that the consumers are going to be shelling out for the cost of this in years to come. So why is this the case? Well, if the Supreme Court rules in favour of consumers, it's likely to trigger the Financial Conduct Authority, FCA, into going ahead with an industry-wide compensation scheme that could affect millions of car finance contracts signed between 2007 and 2021. The FCA has said that for some time that it is leaning towards a mass redress scheme, and last week issued an update on its progress. It says that it will issue it with proposals within 6 weeks of the Supreme Court's ruling. Lenders could face compensation costs reaching tens of billions of pounds based on millions of car loans over a 14-year period. This would inevitably be cut back by increasing interest rates and fees on new loans, meaning that consumers might win token compensation for their last car loan, but end up paying significantly more for their next car finance plan. So basically what that means is if they lose money in the short term, we lose it in the long term, because they're going to want to recoup those losses, because they can, and they probably will. That is kind of how these things go. They're not going to be able to pocket in the long run. Long live this kind of financial stuff that I love reporting on here. But if it goes the other way, if it goes in favour of the lenders, individual lawsuits and class actions could explode as a result, much like the PPI and Dieselgate scandals in recent years. Like those infamous class actions, these large-scale legal battles take a long time, and prolonged litigation would create uncertainty for both lenders and consumers for years to come. With multiple cases and class actions and no clearly defined resolution process, that could potentially drive up costs even further in the long run. So basically, if it goes against the lenders, in favour of the lenders, then people will sue. Inevitably, is their right to do so. As a result of that being so expensive, the people who are suing, they're going to lose money in the short term. They might get it in the long term, but like in the first case, if they do lose out in the short term, they get it back in the long term. That's how these companies are going to do it. So either way, they will get their money back. Either way, the big businesses of car lenders win. I love the British justice system. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Brilliant. Love it. For car dealers who are arguably at the heart of this, the way they hurdle handle car finance, well, hurdling at the moment, I suppose would be a better way, could change entirely. We may see shifts away from dealership arranged finance towards direct lender consumer arrangements, with lenders cutting dealers out of the loop to ensure they are fully compliant with relevant laws. This would be a seismic shift in how cars are sold, but online lending dominates other sectors of banking and finance, so there's no reason it can't work out for car finance as well. But taking finance away from dealers will remove a source of income for them, which they will only make the cars of cost more expensive in the long term. This Supreme Court ruling is poised to reshape the car finance landscape with repercussions that could extend far beyond the car industry. And justice for all, unless you're someone who is affected by this, which really, you'll get it in the short term, but long term, probably not. So when the ruling's made, guys, obviously, I mean, I don't know how long this process is going to take, but it's starting in early April. So with a case as big as this, it could take months. It could take months to do, but we'll see what happens, guys. I hope the people who have been missold this are rightfully given their money back. At least in the short term, they are given that. And then, you know, these people might not necessarily want to have car finance in the future, go for something new. So maybe it won't affect them in the long term, but it'll affect everybody else who does go for this, and any new customers who are wanting to do that as well. So yay, fantastic stuff, love it. For much more feel good for stories on the world of motoring and cars, do keep it tuned here to the motoringchronicle.com. If you're on YouTube, I will link you the video where I go in depth about why this scandal has emerged, and just the kind of reasoning behind it. It's quite simple to understand, but there is a lot of kind of angles to it because it's such a massive case. Like, it's no exaggeration to say this could result in tens of billions of pounds of compensation being paid out by these companies. And if you're eligible for it, go for it. You know, all power to you. But yeah, in the long term, big companies win anyway. Love it. And justice for all, like I said. And yeah, see you soon for some more content here on the motoringchronicle.com, guys. Guys, have a great day.